Welcome back, Focus Learners. We've got an incredibly special explainer for you today. The 2026 FIFA World Cup semifinal lineup is officially locked in. And wow, we are staring down the barrel of two absolute era-defining battles. We're talking historic rivalries, massive tactical shifts, and unparalleled superstar power, all colliding on the absolute biggest stage in sports. We're going to dive deep into the data, the tactics, and the history to figure out exactly how these four juggernauts got here and what we can actually expect when they step onto the pitch. Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. First, we'll welcome the Final Four, then break down the huge Euro rematch between France and Spain, analyze their tactical clash, preview the heavyweight England versus Argentina rivalry, and wrap it all up with the odds and predictions. All right, part one, welcome to the Final Four, setting the stage. We have arrived at the absolute pinnacle. And you know, what's uniquely fascinating here is that all four of these teams are group winners. Yet the superstar power and the routes they took to get here, completely distinct. On one side, you've got France's Kylian Mbappe facing off against Spain's 18-year-old phenom, Lamine Yamal. On the other side, England's Harry Kane is going toe-to-toe with the absolute legend, Lionel Messi. We've got four vastly different identities colliding here. You've got France's control, Spain's precision, England's gritty resilience, and Argentina's relentless scoring power. Moving on to Section 2. France versus Spain. It's the Euro rematch, also known as the Battle of Arlington. So this Bastille Day showdown in Texas is a direct, highly emotional rematch of the Euro 2024 semifinal. France is coming in with the most controlled knockout campaign of literally any team. 6 knockout goals scored, 0 conceded. It's a flawless defensive wall. But they are running into an absolute iron wall in Spain. Spain has passed them incredibly grueling tests against Austria, Portugal, and Belgium, and they've conceded just one single goal in the process. We are literally watching the tournament's two absolute strongest defensive records collide head-on. Now, what's really interesting about this matchup is the number 13. While France gets all the headlines for their clean sheets, Kylian Mbappe has 8 goals and Ousmane Dembélé has 5. That combined 13 ties the legendary 2002 World Cup record set by Brazil's Ronaldo and Rivaldo. That's right, we are watching a truly generational attack unfold right before our eyes. But is Spain intimidated by that? Absolutely not. Just listen to this warning from their 18-year-old wonder kid, Lamine Yamal, who straight up said France should feel fear. And honestly, can you blame him? The kid plays with the absolute fearlessness of youth, and after famously knocking France out of Euro 2024 with a wonder goal, he knows exactly how to hurt them. That brings us to Section 3, the tactical clash, possession versus pace. This right here is the chess match where the entire game will be won or lost. See, for years, Spain suffered from what people called sterile possession, basically passing the ball forever without landing a punch. But notice how their manager, Luis de la Fuente, has completely weaponized verticality. By utilizing Yamal and Nico Williams out wide, they violently stretch opposing defenses. And this is a massive deal because France loves to gamble with a high press, which leaves massive, glaring gaps in the half spaces. Those are exactly the gaps Spain is now perfectly engineered to exploit. And hey, if the beautiful artistry fails, Spain finally has a gritty plan B. Enter Mikel Merino, the ultimate super sub. Historically, Spain really lacked a physical aerial presence late in those tight, stressful games. Well, Merino has completely flipped that script with these surreal late-game winners in both the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. So they don't just play pretty anymore. They finally know how to suffer and win ugly when it counts. All right, shifting gears to Section 4. England versus Argentina. Heavyweights colliding in a historic rivalry. Pivoting over to Atlanta, we're trading that tactical chess match for a dramatic, high-octane slugfest. The juxtaposition here is just wild. You've got England's chaotic resilience matched up against Argentina's relentless firepower. Seriously, England has survived by the absolute skin of their teeth, while Argentina has basically been blowing the doors off stadiums. Let's trace England's ridiculously chaotic survival for a second. First, they edge out DR Congo 2-1. Then, they survive a wild 5-goal thriller against Mexico 3-2. And then, they literally stare down elimination against Norway until Jude Bellingham pulls off a massive extra-time rescue to win it 2-1. Every single win has been by a 1-goal margin, and they've conceded in every single round. It's incredibly stressful for the fans, but you have to admit their resilience is completely off the charts. Contrast that with Argentina's thrilling, high-octane path. The defending champions have scored exactly 3 goals in every single knockout match. They went 3-2 against Cabo Verde, 3-2 against Egypt, and grabbed a 3-1 extra-time win over Switzerland after a real scare.
They boast the tournament's highest goal tally with 9, totally fueled by Lionel Messi and Julian Alvarez. So the crucial takeaway is this. Argentina's firepower is terrifying, for sure, but they have conceded 5 goals. That defensive vulnerability gives a resilient team like England a very clear reason to believe they can actually pull off an upset. Which leads us nicely into Section 5, the odds and predictions. Time for the final verdict.
We've talked tactics, we've talked history, but how are the data and betting markets actually reading this? That brings us to the multi-million-dollar question. Who actually has the edge in Arlington for that massive France versus Spain clash?
Well, here is hard fact. 2.40. Those are France's winning odds in the betting markets right now. That makes Les Bleus the slight favorite to win it all in 90 minutes.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how razor-thin the margins are when we break those odds down into implied probabilities. France has a 42% chance to win, Spain is sitting right there at 32%, and a draw at the end of regulation is hovering at 31%. And yeah, that totals slightly over 100% because of the bookmakers' built-in margins, but the data is practically screaming at us that an extra-time thriller is highly, highly probable.
If you're looking for a trend, though, the recent history timeline heavily favors Spain. Look at this. Spain won 2-0 at Euro 2012, they won 2-1 at Euro 2024, and they just won a wild 5-4 shootout in the 2025 Nations League. With Mbappe in the absolute form of his life and Yamal just unlocking defenses at will, the data strongly points toward both teams finding the back of the net in a very high-scoring affair.
So what does this all mean? It leaves us with one final, fascinating question to ponder. When the dust finally settles in Arlington and Atlanta, are we looking at an all-European coronation, or will Argentina secure the ultimate South American finale? The tactics are set, the margins are essentially zero, and history is just waiting to be written. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes on the pitch and keep on learning.